Dun, 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 dun. Let's go. Friday afternoon quali. Who's up for it? Hello and a big welcome to the channel. I'm the Motorsport Madman and this is 2022 Austrian Grand Prix qualifying. Welcome to the stream. And yes, we're mid-season already. And yes, it's qualifying on a Friday. Qualifying on a Friday because it's a sprint race weekend. If you are new to the channel, if you are a Formula 1 fan, then you've got to get yourself subscribed because I'm live not just today, not just tomorrow, not just on Sunday, but for every single qualifying and every single Grand Prix from the Formula 1 World Championship. And hit that like button because we're about to see a qualifying session without hardly any preparation whatsoever. They've had one practice session that was interrupted twice with 2 red flags this morning, so they're jumping into quali cold. It's anybody's game. Verstappen obviously looking quick. Ferrari's right behind him. Mercedes were up there as well, both cars in the top 5. So yeah, I'm up for this qualifying session ahead of the sprint race tomorrow. Who's in the chat then? Nesto Carbone, welcome in, bro. Welcome in, Chris Poundcoin and Matty Parker and Tax. Welcome to qualifying. It's about to get underway in about 7 or 8 minutes time. And let me just check that the everything's working as it should do. The live timings should update when the cars are out on track in about 7 or 8 minutes, like I say. Let me know if it doesn't, but yeah, it should be all smooth. Yeah, as I was saying before, we're coming fresh off the back of one Friday practice session, which is unusual. On a normal weekend, you'll have 2 practice sessions on the Friday. You'll even have a practice session on the Saturday morning, 2 hours before quali. But this isn't a normal weekend. This is a sprint weekend. There's 3 of them throughout the season. We've already had one at Imola, which was round 4. We've got one this weekend in Austria, round 11. And then there's one at the end of the season, I think, in Brazil, which is like round 20 out of 22, something like that. So one at the beginning of the season, one in the middle, and one at the end. And so how it's going to work is the grid today is going to be set with this qualifying session that's starting in a few minutes. And that's going to set the grid for the sprint race tomorrow. Join me for that. I'll be live at 3:20 for a 3:30 start tomorrow for the sprint race, which will be a third of the race distance. So what is this race? About 70 laps ish, something like that. So a third of that. So what are we talking? 27-ish laps, something like that, around there. Yeah, something like 25 lap-ish sprint race tomorrow. And then the result from the sprint race on the Saturday afternoon will set the grid for the full Grand Prix. Grand Prix as normal on Sunday. That starts at 2 p.m. I'll be live at 10 to 2 for that. But right now, we're about to get into Friday afternoon qualifying. Yes, Sean, welcome to the stream. Fresh out of bed, is it, Sean? Just seen your text, lad. 4 o'clock in the afternoon, you text me, morning. lad, you got to get your sleeping pattern sorted out because there's something wrong there. But yeah, welcome to the stream. Welcome in, Calvin Raid. Yeah, welcome to the stream. Fresh as a daisy, aren't you, Sean? Fresh as a daisy. Yeah. It was up late on match point, was it? Nah, it's going to be good. This it's going to be good. I want to see predictions in chat. What we're saying, who's getting pole position? Then I think Leclerc's had he had 6 or 7 pole positions in the first 10 races, so he's probably got half a chance. But I reckon Max Verstappen today. Might be too strong for him. Anyway, we've got the theme tune. It's hype mode. It's hype mode, boys. Let's have it. I love a sprint weekend. I love a sprint weekend. 2 races for the price of 1. A race on a Saturday and a race on a Sunday. I back it. I wouldn't have it every week, like my brother said. Like, I wouldn't have it every week, but I do like the sprint format. Not going to lie, putting qualifying on a Friday afternoon. Let's go. You get 3 proper days of action then. So it's decent because you get something important on a Friday, something important on a Saturday, and something important. Whereas normally Fridays are it's a bit nothing. You don't really get anything of real substance on a Friday normally. But today we are determining the grid order. Yes. Pour a whiskey, yes, get a whiskey on the... Mind you, though, it might be a bit early for a whiskey over in Boston. It'd be about 9 o'clock in the morning. 10 maybe. 11 maybe. That'd be about 10 a.m. That might be a bit early, but if he's coming off the back of a night shift, have a swig. Are you back home now, is it, Ernesto? Are you back off your... You've been on a bit of a holiday, haven't you? Which you fully deserve, lad, because you working non-stop. Looks like a nice day in the Styrian Mountains then. Austrian Grand Prix is one of my favourite circuits, this, especially to drive on the F1 game. This is a nice track, this. Short, fast. It's 10 corners officially, but it feels like 6 or 7 corners. Turn 2 is not really a corner, is it? It's a kink in a straight. Couple of heavy braking zones, and but really fast flowing circuit. There'd be 70 laps plus on Sunday. But quick laps round here, they're going to be getting in like the 1 minute 4s, something like that. But yeah, shortest, as Martin Brundle's saying, shortest lap time of the year. Because yeah, in Monaco it's like 1 minute 12s, isn't it? So this being 1 minute 4s, 1 minute 5s is the fastest lap on the calendar. Martin Brundle doesn't sound well, mate. He sounds like he doesn't sound well, him. Get me in the commentary, but I'll replace you if you're feeling unwell, lad. I'll sub in. But yeah, what time are we on? 58, yeah. So we're going to get underway within the next 2 minutes. But yeah, nice day. They were saying actually that there is a chance of rain on Sunday. Bit of sprinkling of rain for the Austrian Grand Prix. That wouldn't go amiss. That'll throw a bit of unpredictability into it. Qualifying for Max Verstappen, then second, fourth, third, first, second in the last 5 races. So 1 pole position in the last 5 for Max. I mean, he's winning the races. I was saying the other week, he got a lot of pole positions last year, but not getting as many this year because it's this man. Well, not this man, but this man's teammate, Charles Leclerc, who's been getting a lot of pole positions. But of course, last time out, at the British Grand Prix, it was Carlos Sainz with his first ever pole position, and eventually, after some chaos, converted that into his first ever Grand Prix victory for Carlos Sainz last time out. Can he do something on the back of that? You know, he'll be fully motivated, fully up for it, and thinking he's back in the championship fight after his victory. Carlos Sainz 4th in the championship on 127 points. I've got the standings there. That's fresh off the back of the British Grand Prix. So you've got Verstappen leading the championship on 181 points. Perez, his teammate, 35-ish points behind him. 34 points behind is Sergio Perez in the championship. Then the 2 Ferraris, then the 2 Mercedes. It's like 2 by 2 by 2 at the front now. with Norris a good chunk of the way off the top 6 now with only 58 points. But here we go then, tyre blankets are coming off and qualifying is about to get underway. Yes mate, been back mate, enjoyed your vacation, yeah you deserve it. Go Tiffy on pole, I back it, I love it. Nah, go Tiffy, go Tiffy. Now it was a one-off that one in mixed conditions, can throw up funny results, and Nicholas Latifi definitely made the most out of that in at Silverstone. But it's going to be back to a little bit of normality, although they haven't had as a lot of preparation. Like I was saying, only one practice session this morning and jumping straight into quali. So you could get a few little you could get a couple of cars out of position. Lando Norris especially will be wanting to get as many laps as he possibly can in this first Q1 session, because he broke down in practice this morning. He only did like a dozen laps in practice, and broke down, caused a red flag, and took no further part in that practice session. He missed about 3/4 of an hour of running, which when you only get an hour, it's Lando Norris is fresh. Not really got himself bedded into this track properly, so what can he do? I still fancy him to beat his teammate Daniel Ricciardo, who's having an absolute torrid time of it this season. Esteban Ocon waiting to come out of the pits. A few cars already out there then. If you don't know how qualifying works, it's split into 3 sections. So you've got Q1, Q2 and Q3. So Q1 is 18-minute session, at the end of which the bottom 5 will get knocked out and their grid position will be set. Then you go through to the top 15, go through to Q2. All the times are reset and you go again. And then the bottom 5, so that'll be 11th through to 15th at the end of Q2. Their grid position gets set, they're knocked out. Then we go through to Q3, otherwise known as the pole position shootout. That's the top 10, and another 12 minutes is put on the timing board. You go again for Q3, the top 10, and that's for pole position, and that'll be coming up in about 3/4 of an hour. But for right now, it's Q1, and we're already a couple of minutes into it, and it's Charles Leclerc who's the first man setting purple sectors. So if you see a sector and it's yellow, that means not very good. A green sector, if it lights up green, that is personal best, and the purple sector is fastest of anybody. So purple is what you want, especially in qualifying, and Leclerc is purple through the middle sector. But it's early days, there's still another 15 minutes to go in Q1. Here he is. Yes, Jordan, how are we doing? You was on a late night editing mode. So was I, to be fair. I've been doing bits and bobs here to be live today, and Leclerc straight away goes top. But these are just the first laps, just to get a lap in the bag before we start pushing it to the limits. For the top guys, it's just about getting through to Q2. If you're in a decent car, if you're in a Ferrari, a Mercedes, a Red Bull, you're pretty sure you're going to get through to Q2, so you don't have to push the absolute limits. But if you're in Nicholas Latifi, if you're in a Williams, if you're in a Aston Martin, if you're in an Alpha Tauri, you know, this can make or break your weekend. So you've got to give it absolutely everything in this session. This can be make or break, as we saw for Nicholas Latifi at the British Grand Prix last weekend, getting into the top 10. Unbelievable. But I'll be surprised if he does that. Look at the gap between Perez and Leclerc at the top. 44 thousandths of a second. That bodes well for a close and competitive Friday afternoon qualifying. How we doing, Farhan? Welcome to the stream. Well, Sainz has had his lap deleted then. Sainz had a 1:06. Oh, so Sainz would have been quickest, but track limits at turn 3, turn 10. Oh, sorry, turn 10, lap 3. Turn 10. That's like the final corner. Sainz just went too wide then coming out of the exit of the final corner and got his lap time deleted. Here's a replay of it then. Ooh. Ooh, by him. Oh, by a midge's whisker. He did go out, but literally, if you go all four wheels over the white line, your lap is getting deleted, and Carlos Sainz, by millimetres, has gone too wide on the final corner. He's got his lap time deleted. So it's Leclerc on a 1 minute 6.7. I think Verstappen did a 1 minute 6.3 in practice. So I'll be looking to get well into the 1 minute 5s pretty soon. There's Ocon. Albon in the top 5 at the moment then, and Fernando Alonso goes quickest. Alpine looking good, you know. Alpine looking good. I'm sure Alonso is in the top. Magnussen quickest. Oh, is Schumacher quickest? Go on then, Mick. Yeah, the timing screens are quicker than the actual live TV, and I just see Mick Schumacher top there. Leclerc's gone top now then. In fact, is this on... let me just check. Yeah, it is on this channel. It was a few seconds ahead on Sky Main Event. So Leclerc from Schumacher from Magnussen. I tell you what, I'll take that as a podium on Sunday. I'll take that as a starting grid, even. Here's Carlos Sainz then. This time stays within track limits. Faster than anyone's purple sector 1 and goes P2. So it's Leclerc on a 1 minute 6.2 and Sainz on a 1 minute 6.4. 2 tenths behind. Haas are looking good. Haas and Alpine were actually pretty competitive in practice this morning. Well, earlier this afternoon. Yes, Jordan. Denvercast tonight. Oh, am I on Denvercast this evening? If there is one. I don't think there will be one because he's going to Bangkok. He's going to Bangkok tomorrow. So there won't be. I'll put my neck on the line. I'll say there won't be one. Denver back on live on. No, he's going Bangkok, Farron. So probably not. Anyway, we're at 10 minutes to go in Q1. And we are watching Max Verstappen going to set his first time then. So I don't know where he's been for the first 8 minutes of this session, but now he's on it. Personal best in Sector 1. Hamilton goes P9. Russell up to 4th. Hamilton, I need to improve that lap time for sure. Verstappen a 10th up in the middle sector. Esteban Ocon goes P4. Confirming. Alpine are pretty quick, you know. Alonso by 1,000th of a second. Fernando Alonso goes quickest. And that's just beaten by Sergio Perez. Has Verstappen gone too wide? And look at listen, the top 4 are separated by a 10th. The top 4, which is Verstappen, Perez, Alonso and Leclerc, separated by a 10th. This is super competitive. This is as competitive as I've seen it this season. Wow. Half a tenth between the two Red Bulls. Alonso quick, man. Alonso's quick. Oh, Verstappen might have his lap time deleted. He's a little bit too wide in the final corner. Yeah, he's going to have his lap time deleted. Alonso's rapid, man. Alonso's still got it, man. He might be 40 years old, but he's still got it. Perez for pole. Sure, why not? I think Perez has had one pole this season. I think Perez got pole in Saudi Arabia. He didn't convert it to a win, but he has had one pole position, I'm sure, this year. So you never know. Could be. But it's early days, you know. You're seeing Perez top at the moment, but, you know, this is Q1. The grid positions are only set from 16th, 16th down at the end of this session, and then everyone else is reset. It's just about being in the top 15 and getting through to Q2. We've got 8 minutes to go in this Q1 then, and Hamilton is fastest of anybody in Sector 1. Go on then, Lewis. Mercedes are on the rampage. Look at K-Mag. Look at Haas. Haas are 4th and 6th. 0.3, like less than 0.3 off the pace. What? Here comes Lewis then, round the final corner. Don't go too wide. Oh, that's nicely within track limits. Go on then, Lewis. Bang! Fastest by 0.5. The Mercedes are in the game. Mercedes are in the conversation. I love it. Mercedes are in the conversation now for Grand Prix wins and pole positions and all the rest of it. They're in the conversation now. That confirms it. 64 thousandths of a second faster than Perez. He might not ultimately take pole position. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is they're in the conversation. They're back. They ain't a second off the pace anymore. That's what I'm saying. They're in the fight. There's a bloody Alpine are in the fight looking at this as well. Bottas only 10th. 6.5 minutes to go in this Q1 session, and we start to look down the bottom. We've got Gasly, Ricciardo, Vettel. Verstappen's not set a proper lap time yet because his fastest lap got deleted. So Verstappen under pressure as Albon goes P8. But yeah, Verstappen under pressure. Latifi hasn't even set a lap time yet. Cut to Daniel Ricciardo in trouble in P17. Needs a lap. Would love a Hamilton podium. I'd love a Hamilton win. It's your prediction, Farhan. What? Perez pole. Not bad, not a bad prediction. The car is finally catching up. It's taken them 11 races. Well, 10 races. They could have won the British Grand Prix. They had an outside chance. But it's took them half a season to catch up, basically. But now, I think it's official. They've caught up. They're back in the game. And that's only good for Formula 1. It's only good for the season that Mercedes, there might be too many points behind to now fight for the championship. You'd be asking a lot. But if they can get involved, upset the Red Bulls, upset the Ferraris and get in the mix, we saw how good the British Grand Prix was with Mercedes on the pace. All of a sudden you got Lewis fighting with Perez, fighting with Leclerc, fighting with Sainz. It was all kicking off. Here is Max Verstappen then into the final couple of corners. You've got to chuck it into turn 9 there. 250 kilometers an hour into turn 9 and round turn 10 he's in track limits this time and goes P1 by over 0.2 of a second. 1 minute 5.8. I said we're getting the 1 minute 5s and it has happened, but Sainz beats that though. Sainz goes of 1 minute 5.6. okay, and Leclerc beats that by wow Ferrari, don't count them out of the game. Leclerc quickest now on a 1 minute 5.4. And all of a sudden Hamilton's 6.5 off the pace now with these two, with the top 3 setting blistering lap times. But yeah, we start to look at the bottom now. We've got 4 minutes to go, and after all, this is Q1, and it is about 16th, 17th, 18th, 19th, and 20th. At the moment, is Norris. Norris P16. Obviously, not a lot of preparation. His car broke down in practice. He looks to be struggling at the minute, but he is on a good lap. Is Lando Norris at the moment? It's Norris, Latifi, Stroll, Albon, Vettel, and here comes Vettel across the line. Improves, but only to P17 and can't get out. But Norris does get out, and Norris goes P8, less than a second off the pace, and he might be safe with that. He might not. He's on the cusp of being safe there in P8. 0.9 off the pace as most guys are back in the pit lane then to put a new set of tyres on. Well, if you're in the top few positions, you won't even go out again. But if you are in the bottom half of the standings right now, you're going to go in, get a brand new set of tyres on and go and fight for your survival and a place in Q2. But Ferrari are looking very strong, especially compared to Perez. What's Leclerc done? A 1:05.4. Perez on a 1:06.1. What's that? 7/10. Leclerc 7/10 quicker than Perez. I think the Perez pole prediction is looking a bit sketchy. If Alonso can qualify top 6, that'd be big, you know. Here comes Lance Stroll then, starting a flying lap. Oh. Correction. Finishing a flying lap. He's 15th at the moment, Lance Stroll, but that won't be enough. It probably won't be enough to get through. He'll have to improve if he wants to get through to Q2. Second and a half off the pace. And on the bubble in P15 as well. With less than 2 minutes to go in Q1. Oh, yeah. Cut to Zhou Guanyu then, who is P17 at the moment. He needs a lap. After a miraculous no injury situation after that huge crash on lap 1 of the British Grand Prix, but he's back in the car and back on it. A few days later, such is the safety in Formula 1 these days, that halo coming in clutch, saving his life. Yeah, Zhou Guanyu round the first corner, then DRS is on, down to, well, up to turn 3. Heavy on the brakes, 100 metre board. Right across the apex, careful the back end on the exit. Over the crest and now down the hill into turn 4. Braking at about 60 metres, and there it is. Right into the apex. It doesn't actually seem bad. Nicely over the curb on the exit. Yeah, just lift, and he's tentative turning in there, but it's a very high speed corner over the curb on the exit. You've got to be careful of understeer around this part. Don't get over the serrated curbs, and now that is almost a lap. He's into the last couple of corners already. You've got to throw it in there. You've got to be aggressive. Don't go too wide on the exit and into the final corner. Don't hit the sausage curb on the left-hand side. And across the line. Go on, Zhou. Oh, only P17 for Zhou Guanyu as Kevin Magnussen goes 9th. Bottas 11th, and that's the best he can do. This is actually incredible given the crash. It's crazy. The halo is incredible. It's actually incredible that he's back on it like 4 days later. After that. Latifi's definitely out then. P19 at best. His heroics from Silverstone not carrying over to a day in the Styrian Hills in Austria. Ricciardo's out as well. Ricciardo P16 at best and definitely out. Here comes Lance Stroll to the line. Go on then. No, Stroll's out. And here comes Vettel to the line. And Vettel's out as well. Ricciardo, Vettel, Stroll, Latifi all out. I don't know about Zhou Guanyu, whether he can get another lap together. And Ricciardo again. And look, Norris is P8. And Norris barely did any laps in practice. Ricciardo, mate. I think Zhou Guanyu is out. He's just not officially crossed the line. I don't think he's on a flying lap. Because we were watching the flying lap. Oh, I think Vettel's lap time's been deleted. I think Vettel's fastest lap just got deleted. So Vettel's last now. Vettel's lost his time. So it's so knocked out in Q1 then is Sebastian Vettel P20, Nicholas Latifi P19, Zhou Guanyu P18, Lance Stroll P17, and Daniel Ricciardo for McLaren P16. Those 5 are out, and we go through to Q2, which will be in about 5 minutes' time. Ricciardo, man, I can't. Latifi's lap. No, he's not anymore, Chris, because Vettel got his lap time deleted. So, Nicholas Latifi, not last. It's like me and my F1 career mode, isn't it? Not last. I qualified P19 in Imola. I was like, get in, not last. Because that career mode in the Williams is solid. It's not an easy car to drive. But Albon's got through, though. Albon's through in P14. Both Haas's ended up in the top 10 there. It was a Ferrari 1-2 in the end. Alonso was 4th. Alonso's genuinely competitive. Which is brilliant. Alonso in the Alpine quicker than Hamilton in the Mercedes. I love it. Perez was 6th. Russell was 7th. Meh. But Norris P8 after having barely any laps in practice. And Ricciardo, who had he had problems as well in practice, to be fair, Ricciardo, with his rear wing flapping around. But Ricciardo out. And Norris through easily. Again. It's worrying. It's worrying times for Danny Rick. It really is. But Haas looking impressive. Alpine even more so. But I can't understand Ocon 13th, Alonso 4th. Come on, Esteban. Half a second slower was Ocon compared to Alonso, and Albon's got through. That's probably the biggest thing. Biggest headline at the end of Q1: Ricciardo out, Albon through. Vettel team radio. Vettel not happy to be, just more disappointed than angry. He's out. Zhou Guan Yu out as well in P18. You can see now on the live timings that those positions are set now. They're like greyed out. Ricciardo, Stroll, Zhou, Latifi, Vettel. Look at the fans. Max Verstappen must have, 90% of the fan base here, if not more. Austria's virtually, I was saying in practice before, Austria is virtually a second home race for Max Verstappen. They all come over from the Netherlands. Over to, where are they? Salzburg, something. They've got Otmar Safnauer on the Alpine team boss on the on Sky at the minute. But I tell you what, I fancy an interview with Otmar Safnauer myself, because Alpine are quick, genuinely. And look at Sebastian Vettel's special edition Save the Bees crash helmet this weekend. But went wide at turn 1 over the sausage curb, and you're just going to scrape the floor to death if you put a wheel on the wrong side of that. Otmar Safnauer saying they can be top 5. I back it. I think they genuinely can. like just on raw pace, I think they can beat a Mercedes. If Lewis or George don't get a perfect lap together, you could see Fernando beating one of them and cracking in top 6. Definitely. I can see Haas getting a car through to Q3 as well. I mean, it'd be immense if they got both cars through to the pole position shootout, but I can see Haas, you know, sneaking a car through to the top 10 shootout. They're looking good. And we are underway. In fact, I never even got the... I'm just going to leave it now. But yeah, we're underway for Q2. This is a 15-minute session, at the end of which grid positions 11th through to 15th get set. So it's all about getting into the top 10, being in the top 10 and being through to the final part of quali. And you've got 14 minutes to set a lap time to get through. But Danny Rick's woes continue. When's his luck going to... Well, it's not even luck, is it? When is he going to turn his form around? Because at the moment, it's just a sinking ship. You know, Zach Brown was giving him a bit of a warning in Monaco and sort of said, you know, you're not getting the results that we expected. And it's not improved since then. He got a couple of points in Azerbaijan, but other than that, it's been slim pickings. And cut to the helmet cam on board with Lando Norris then. He's got back in the... there's a bit of porpoising. First time I've mentioned that this weekend. A little bit of porpoising into turn 1 for Lando Norris, but he's nicely over the apex. You can actually hear the bottom of the car just scraping along the floor as he enters turn 3 at the top of the hill. Now over to the left hand side down the hill for turn 4. Oh, he's gone well wide. Oh, he's off. Ooh, whoa. I thought he was going into the gravel then, but I think he just avoided going into the gravel there. I thought, for a split second there, I thought, mate, we're going straight on. We're definitely in the gravel trap, but... It's Charles Leclerc on a flying lap, then fastest of anybody in the middle sector is the Ferrari. Feels like every week I think Danny Rick will be back on it, but nah. Yeah, don't be throwing your money away anymore, Tax. It's just, he's going through a bad spell. Verstappen quickest of anyone, middle sector, but Leclerc is the first one to properly set a lap time. Verstappen beats that then. Verstappen, Leclerc, Sainz goes P3. Here comes Sergio Perez then, P4. So it's Verstappen, Leclerc, Sainz, Perez. These are just the first opening banker laps. Russell, P2. I like it. Go on then, Hamilton. Go on then, Lewis. Boom. They're in the fight here. I'll tell you what. I'll tell you something. We're in for a good second half of the season here. Mercedes are in the fight. Hamilton P1, Russell P3. This is exactly what Martin's saying. There's 6 drivers in this, and there might be 6 drivers in every single qualifying and every single race fighting for victory. And that is beautiful for Formula 1. You know, so many seasons you have a one-horse race. Seasons where it's just a one-driver race. Seasons where it's a one-team race. This season's was looking like a two-team race, Ferrari v Red Bull. Ferrari v Red Bull v Mercedes by mid-season. Yes. Get in. With a cheeky Fernando Alonso bang, getting involved as well. Yeah, we've got a classic on our hands. Here's Alexander Albon through the middle sector then. Yeah, not having a bet on him this week. No, I'm going to break it to you, Tax. It ain't worth it, bro. Throwing your money down the drain on that one. Here comes Alex into the final couple of corners. Then go on then, Alex. If you can get through to Q3, that would be beast mode. Go on then. Boom, P7. Okay. Decent. Here comes Esteban Ocon though. And quicker than Sergio Perez. Perez obviously not set a representative lap time yet. Second off the pace. Replay on board with Lando Norris then. He's not having a good time of it, is he? He's not having a good time of it, Lando Norris. But then, you know what? Like I said before, he didn't have a lot of preparation. And if he gets through to Q3, that's a very, very good job. All things considered, just launching himself into quali after barely any laps. But this is interesting. This is interesting. It's interesting how competitive Mercedes are. They're really in with it. They're really in it. This is brilliant. Hamilton improves again and extends the gap to a massive 93 thousandths of a second over Max Verstappen. Wow. Hamilton came to play this weekend, without a doubt, Jordan. Mercedes came to play this weekend. Silverstone was the turning point, man. They had a sniff of victory in Silverstone, and they're on. They're switched on. I wish it had taken them 3 or 4 races instead of 10 or 11, but it is what it is. It's well considering how far... I know. Mate, they were bouncing down the straight. Hamilton was moaning and flipping. They had a nightmare, didn't they, in the first few races, but... I knew Mercedes would come back. It was always a case of when rather than if. I just wish they'd have done it quicker. Because I knew they'd come back. It's only a matter of time. You know, I've been watching Mercedes dominate this sport for the last decade. They weren't going to be off the pace for long. Mick Schumacher goes P6. Both Haas are 6th and 7th at the minute. Yeah, Haas are looking good. Where's Fernando? Fernando's not set a time yet. He's on a flying lap now. He's in the first sector. We're following Valtteri Bottas round the last corner. Then Valtteri Bottas to the line with 7 minutes to go. Goes 10th. He's going to have to improve from that if he wants to get through, though. Lewis double overtake was nuts. Moment of the season, probably that. Even for like neutral fans, like I'm not a Hamilton fan anymore. I was back in the day. I'm neutral now, but a double overtake in front of your home fans was definitely moment of the season. Alonso goes P6. A 10th and a half off the Ferrari Carlos Sainz. Here comes Yuki Tsunoda into the final sector. Come on then, Yuki. I want to see AlphaTauri do something, man. They had a good result in Azerbaijan. I think Gasly was like 6th. And that's the only noteworthy result they've got this season. Tsunoda had a good drive in Imola, but they've been a bit anonymous. And 13th and 14th is about where they've been all season. Perez is P11 and in the pits at the moment. He's under pressure with 5.5 minutes to go. Norris has not set a proper lap time yet. He's 19.5 seconds down. Yeah, he's not obviously not set a quick lap time yet, but Perez is under pressure as well. Let's look at on board with Sergio Perez. Does he go? Oh, he's got his lap. Oh, he's got a lap time deleted. Is what's happened to Perez. Oh, it must have just by millimetres. Perez is too wide going into the final corner. Verstappen going for a... Oh no, Perez going for a crash helmet change in the middle of a session. Oh, that's about... Or maybe it's visor. Maybe it's got a different visor on it. He needs... maybe it's direct sunlight. It needs heavier tint on the visor with the sun glaring in. Something like that, probably. Perez needs to get back out there without a doubt with 4 minutes to go. He's P11 and he's still in the pits. It's going to be a slapdash finish for Sergio Perez. He's going to have to get on with it and get a lap on the board to get through. I fancy Haas to get a car in the top 10 here. If Mick gets through to top 10. Or Kevin. Repping Kevin today. I love an underdog. I love Haas. It's an underdog situation. I love it. They haven't got the budget of the bigger teams. They haven't got the history. They haven't got everything. But they've got the greatest of all time son in the car. And Kevin Magnussen as well, who fights for every single inch. I love it. Here's Lando Norris, and he desperately needs a time. He's not even set a representative lap time yet. I think he's had 2 shots at it and 2 pretty big mistakes. But McLaren are not having... Oh, God, he's gone wide there. He's touches the gravel on the exit of turn 5. Here he comes in the last couple of corners. Right, Leclerc. Sainz up to 4th. Here comes Norris to the line then. Oh no. Oh no. Norris is going to have one more shot at getting through. Down in P13 at the minute. Here comes Esteban Ocon then. Go on then. P6. Alpine are quick. Alpine are definitely the 4th fastest team, I'd say. Yeah, and I said before, I fancy Alpine to beat McLaren this year. Well, it sounds easy to say that now with Norris 15th, Ricciardo out, and the 2 Alpines in the top 7. That seems easy to say that now, but I was saying that when McLaren was still beating Alpine. I was like, nah, Alpine are dark horses, man. They're genuine. Over the whole season, I fancy Alpine to beat McLaren. Less than 2 minutes to go, and every single driver out there. Then all 15 drivers. This is going to be chaos now. The times are going to be tumbling now. Lando Norris saying he's scared of hitting the brakes. No, it doesn't sound good, that. He's saying he's scared to hit the brakes. Yeah, he's definitely lacking trust in the car. That's not a good sign. I won't fancy Lando Norris to get through on the back of that team radio message. But I'd love Alex Albon to get through. Go on then, Alex. With this new spec Williams rebuilt after his crash at the British Grand Prix last week. Fully rebuilt. Go on, Alex. Underrated driver, Alex Albon, as is Esteban Ocon. But, oh, no, he's too wide. He's too wide. He's going to have lap time deleted. Goes 10th, but I think that's lap time's going to be deleted anyway. Cut to Sergio Perez, who's down in P12 at the moment. Oh, Norris is struggling. Norris, I tell you what, McLaren could end up lining up 15th and 16th in this race. Seriously. Magnussen, P6. Can both Haas get through to the top 10? I fancy at least one of them to be there. Magnussen's lap time in P6 might be good enough to get through, full stop. Gasly goes 10th, but it's not that convincing. And Perez under pressure then, launches it into turn 9. Oh, he's right on the limit of track limits. Verstappen crosses the line then. So Perez up to 6th, gets the lap done when he needs it. And Bottas is definitely out then, 13th at best. Valtteri Bottas definitely out in Q2. Norris definitely out as well. Norris is 15th. McLaren are lining up 15th and 16th tomorrow for the sprint race. What a disaster. Oh, Alonso only 9th. Where's the pace evaporated? 8 tenths off. Maybe Ferrari and Red Bull have turned it up a little bit, but that's going to bubble that. Alpine's 8th and 9th. Where's Mick? If Mick improves, it's big. Albon 12th. He's out then. So Albon, Bottas, Tsunoda, and Norris definitely out. It's all about Gasly. Is Schumacher through? Where's Pierre? Why aren't we? Why? Is Pierre out? Is that it? Is Schumacher through? Oh, Tsunoda's raging. Well, that's nothing new. Tsunoda's absolutely fuming. Gasly's in the pits. Both Hatters are through. Mick Schumacher P10. Kevin Magnussen P7. Whoa, Yuki Tsunoda had a massive moment in turn. Yo, he drifted it through turn 1, did Yuki Tsunoda. Bouncing over that sausage curb. Oh my god. Both Hasses through. I said one of them might. I didn't expect the pair of them. And both Alpines as well got through. And then your usual top 6. Wow. Ferrari, Red Bull, Mercedes, 1, 2, 3. Yeah, Leclerc. That was Leclerc from Verstappen from Hamilton's sides. This is competitive. This is competitive for at the sharp end. You know what I mean? We've been talking about for years about a competitive midfield, but we could have a second half of the season with 6 drivers fighting for pole. Mega. Hey, I tell you what, Haas didn't score any points for about 6 races in a row. But coming off the back of they had a great quali in Canada, didn't they? I think they had both cars in the top 6 in Canada. That didn't pan out for them. Magnussen had damage to his front wing in Canada, and Schumacher broke down. I was devastated. And then they went to Silverstone, qualified at the back, and ended up both in the points. Mad. You just can't call it in this sport. You just never know. If Latifi can qualify top 10, you just never know. But Leclerc was, what did Leclerc set? A 1 minute 5.2. So Leclerc was a 10th quicker than Verstappen. And Hamilton was only a 10th slower than that. Russell was 5th on a 1 minute 5.7. Magnussen was 7th. Half a second off the pace. That's decent, man. So yeah, knocked out at the end of Q2 then was Pierre Gasly P11, Alexander Albon P12, Valtteri Bottas P13, Yuki Tsunoda P14, and Lando Norris, who just couldn't get a lap together. He was just having nightmare. He couldn't even get the car slowed down. He's knocked out in P15. McLaren will start the sprint race tomorrow in Austria from 15th and 16th. Gasly being told he's knocked out in P11. Gutted. Mexican wave in the crowd. Hit the like button if you are enjoying the stream. Bit of Friday afternoon qualifying in the Styrian Hills. Can't beat it. And heading to Q3, the pole position shootout in a couple of minutes. The proper positions will be decided. Then we've got sprint race tomorrow. And then that will set the grid. The results of the sprint race will set the grid for the Grand Prix. Austrian Grand Prix on 2 PM on Sunday. I'll be live 10 minutes before it. Interview with Daniel Ricciardo. Cheers, Ernesto. Yeah, if you are into Formula 1 as well, not just live this weekend, if you are new to the channel, I'm live for every single qualifying and every single Grand Prix from the Formula 1 World Championship. So if you are a Formula 1 fan, you've got to get yourself subscribed, because if F1's on, I'm on. And we're watching the rear of Carlos Sainz's Ferrari, and they're doing some work on what looks like the rear brake disc. Or the rear suspension, which is not good in the middle of a qualifying session. It's not what you want to see. You know, you want to just be just polishing the car in between Q2 and Q3. You don't want to be taking the getting the screwdriver out on the rear wheel, on the rear brake disc. But yeah, both Alpines in, both Haas in the top 10. I'd love to see Fernando pull a lap out and get in the top 6. That would be mega. Just doesn't look himself, Danny Rick, even in the interviews, man. He just seems down. I mean, you would be. The thing with Danny Rick is it's not just that he's performing poorly, because that's one thing. But when your teammates, I mean, Norris as well has had a nightmare today. McLaren have generally had a nightmare today. But today aside, it's regular that you'll have Norris in the top 6, top 8, and Ricciardo. It's just a grim situation. McLaren are not having, on the whole, you know, Norris's podium aside from Imola, McLaren are not really having a great season, are they? You know, I've said it before, you know, McLaren have been on an upward trajectory since like 2017. Every year a little bit better everywhere. And then this year they've definitely taken a step back. Anyway, we're going to be starting Q3 any second now. 12 minutes are going to go on the clock, and we're going to be battling for pole position for the sprint race tomorrow. Turn 8 incident involving Perez noted. Track limits. Worst qualifying performance of the season so far for McLaren. I'm not surprised. P15 and P16. Heavy, especially when you've got the rivals. Alpine are only 6 points behind him in the Constructors Championship, I think. McLaren are on something like 73 points, and I think Alpine are on 67. It's that close, and that is not what McLaren want. 15th and 16th when you've got both Alpines in the top 10. But Q3 is underway. And who are we saying for pole, guys? Who are we saying for pole? in my predictions, just quickly bring up my predictions. This is my predictions for this weekend. This is for the full Grand Prix on Sunday, by the way. This is not sprint race results. I didn't really consider that, but I've got Max Verstappen pole position, and I've got him to convert that into a win on Sunday. Hamilton up there P2. I've got Leclerc third. What are your guys' predictions? Let me change back to that. Let me get the live timings back on. And we're underway. 9.5 minutes to go to decide pole position. I just wonder if Mercedes are really in the fight. Can Lewis get a pole here? Are they that competitive, or are we looking at third at best for Mercedes? This would be interesting as Lewis chucks it into turn one. He's on it. If Lewis bags a pole position, it would be big. Seriously. If Russell did it, you know what I mean? Not just Hamilton purple in sector 1, but he's the first one. He's the first one to do it. But Lewis, oh no, he's backed out of it. Lewis has backed out of it. He must have had a mistake in turn 4. Lewis has slowed down. I think Leclerc might get pole. Yeah, that's a good bet. Leclerc's got about 6 pole positions this season out of 10. 6 or 7. Here comes Charles Leclerc round the final corner then. And Leclerc sets the benchmark of 1 minute 5.1. Followed by Russell on a 1 minute 5.4. Ocon a 1 minute 5.7. It's Magnussen and Schumacher a 4th and 5th. Here comes Carlos Sainz to the line. Makes it a Ferrari 1-2 at the moment. But here's Max Verstappen then. The 2 Red Bulls. And Verstappen beats that. Goes a 1 minute 5 flat. Perez P4 then. So it's Verstappen, Leclerc, Sainz, Perez early doors in Q3. 7.5 minutes to go. Ocon P6. Lewis only 8th. Well, it wasn't optimal that. He messed up his first effort. Lewis going to have to go for it at the end. And P1. No. Max Verstappen's P1 at the moment, Sean. You're probably P1 on the old ranked if you're playing that. But you're not P1 in Austria today, lad. It's Max Verstappen at the moment on a 1 minute 5 flat. Leclerc less than a 10th behind though. It's so close at the front. Perez 3/10 off it. Hamilton hasn't set a time. Hamilton hasn't set a proper lap yet. A 1 minute 5.1. That'd be good enough for like P2, yeah. You'd be on the front row with that, Sean. Lewis has crashed. Lewis has crashed. Lewis is in the wall. They haven't realised yet that Hamilton's crashed. Lewis has crashed in quali. With red flag. Lewis has binned it. I can't believe it. I can't believe it. What the hell? I literally can't believe this. Lewis has crashed. What the hell? I can't believe this. What is going on? Red flag. What has gone on with Lewis? Do you know, it's been years since I've seen Lewis in the barrier like that. I can't believe that. How he crashed. We've not seen a replay yet, but he's fully ruined the car as well. I've not seen Lewis in the barriers for years, man, like that. Very rarely makes mistakes. Red flag with 5.5 minutes to go, so the timer is effectively paused while they clear everything up, and then the session will resume eventually once they've sorted this all out. We need to see a replay of this. What's gone on? This is crazy. So Hamilton will start 8th at best, but it's likely to become P10. It's likely to become P10 once Alonso and Schumacher improve their time. So it's looking like Lewis Hamilton start the sprint race, but he has got the sprint race to come through. Maybe come through in the sprint race and then get a decent grid position for the race. But here's a replay then. So round to 6. Oh, he just loses a rear end. Bang, it's sideways into the barrier. He just throws it. It's just impossible to save that. He just throws it into, I think that's turn 7, and just the back end just goes out. Yeah, that's the counter steer into it. It's been years since I've seen Lewis make a mistake like that. He just throws it in, expects the rear end to stick, and it just... Whoa, and bang, before you know it, sideways into the barrier. Lewis Hamilton is out of this qualifying session and will likely start from 10th. Mad, bro. Big incident as well, that. They're going to take a few minutes to clear this up as well. But yeah, the session is effectively paused under a red flag. So we'll have 5.5 minutes on the clock when it finally resumes in a few minutes. On provisional pole at the moment is Verstappen on a 1 minute 5.0. Leclerc a 10th behind that. Sainz 3rd at the moment. Perez P4. Russell 5th. Ocon 6th. Magnussen 7th. Hamilton 8th, but yeah, Lewis will end up 10th. Once it resumes and Alonso and Schumacher actually get a lap in, it's good to see the Schumacher name back at the sharp end. You know, we don't want Mick Schumacher finishing 17th and 16th and 19th. He's in the top 10 again, and he's got another good chance of getting a good result this weekend as Mick. Oh, Lewis is back in the garage then. Well, back in the paddock. He's alright. He's alright, is Lewis. Replays Charles Leclerc on the limit then. Did he have his lap time deleted? Let's have a look. Final corner. Leclerc not happy with Lewis. Feels like Leclerc feels like he's been held up by Lewis. Mad, bro. Yeah, you could hear when Lewis hit the wall, you could hear the fans cheering. That's grim, innit, that? Yeah, it's not the right reaction, that, is it? Oh, look at this though. Yeah, the full right hand side of the car is destroyed. The front right corner, the rear right corner. Let's see again then. Alright, so it's restarting in 4 minutes. Well, resuming in 4 minutes is this session, and we get it finally. We've just seen a replay of Lewis's crash here. Oh, he just snaps on him so quick, he can't even... The rear end just snaps, he corrects it, and then off into the gravel. 3, 2, 1, bang, you're in the wall. P10, bro. The first thing Lewis said when he hit the wall was, "What position am I in?" That's nuts. Bang, I'm in the wall. What position am I in? Session restarts in 3 minutes then. That should say resumes. Session resumes in 3 minutes. And then there's going to be still 5.5 minutes on the clock. So there'll be enough time for everyone to get out of the pits and get a couple of flying laps in before the end of qualifying. This is going to be interesting. Verstappen's lap is beatable. You got to get in the 1 minute 4s to beat Max. But it's close at the front. And remember, this just sets the grid. This just sets the grid for the sprint race. Sprint race tomorrow at 3:30. I'm live 10 minutes before it at 3:20. And then the result of the sprint race sets the grid for the Grand Prix on Sunday. So we get 2 races this weekend for the price of 1. Love it. Quali on a Friday. Race on a Saturday, race on a Sunday. Get in. Yeah, 1 minute 20 to go before the session gets back underway again. And Lewis will start 10th tomorrow. That is almost certain. It's not the end of the world because he can come through in the sprint race. He's got to have a mega sprint race, basically, Lewis. You know, Lewis has got to... Lewis has got to have a mega sprint race tomorrow, and then can get a decent start position for the full race on the Sunday. It sort of gives him an extra chance, really. Norris as well. The McLarens have got to come through the pack as well, starting 15th and 16th. They've had a bit of a nightmare. 30 seconds to go. At least it wasn't a 1 hour red flag like we got at the British Grand Prix. That was... quite the gap to bridge. It's just been like a 10-minute red flag. I can deal with that. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let's go. Green flag. This is what Martin Brundle's just said, exactly what I was saying before. How many times have we seen Lewis crash like that, just lose the car and crash into the wall? I can't even. Yeah, Brazil 2017, exactly. In quali. Literally, it's literally been like 6 years since Lewis has crashed. That's a weird one. Trust me, that is not a common thing to see. Yeah, Hamilton getting it wrong and putting it in the wall. Maybe 3 times in the last 10 years. But we're back underway and we've got 4 minutes to go. Let me make sure the live timings will update. I hope they do. I hope the live timings update. But we're less than 4 minutes. I think 2 or 3 drives have gone out and the rest have stayed in the pits for now. They're probably just putting it all on the line for one final lap, I suppose, at the end. But here comes George Russell then, round the final corner to start a flying lap with 3.5 minutes to go in Q3. Go on, George, you can pull some magic out of the bag, can't you? I swear they've reprofiled that straight up to turn 3. That's different this year. I'm sure of it. They've changed the shape of that. Go on, George. You need to go purple middle sector. And with 3 minutes to go, it looks like the rest of them are coming out. Leclerc's out. But only Alonso and Russell went out straight away, which is weird. They're all sort of gambling. They're just gambling on like a one-shot. On a one-lap shootout at the end. Kind of like a one-shot quali in the F1 game. This is basically what this is now. And Russell's crashed. Russell's off. Both Mercedes have crashed in quali. Both Mercedes have crashed in quali. And Russell spun off on the last corner. Oh my God, Mercedes have absolutely had a nightmare. Hamilton crashes. Russell crashes too. They've just got the session back underway. Bang, red flag again. Will this session ever end? My God. Red flag again. And Russell's in the wall. Yeah, hit the like, guys. Hit a like if you are enjoying the stream. Oh, coming through the... Oh, God, he's just lost the rear end turning into the turn 10. Oh, mate, that... I can't believe it, bro. Both Mercs crashing quali. Odds on that, William Hill. 50,000 to 1 you'd have got on that. Wow. Max fans will be absolutely loving this. I can't believe it, bro. We're just seeing the replays. This is George. And they're going downhill as well. It is tricky, but... Wow, I can't believe it. Red flag again. How long's left? Like 3 minutes or something. 2.5 minutes and it's red flag. So they will have time to go around and start a lap. So that's why they're not like... That's why they've not decided to end the session. They're just carrying on. They're... That's That's crazy. I mean, he's fifth at the moment. What lap time has he got? So Russell's got a 1 minute 5.4. He might stay fifth. He might end up starting the sprint race fifth anyway, because unless Ocon can improve 3/10, and then everyone behind has got to. Magnussen was the only guy to set a lap time in that little 2 minute spell we just had there, and so he pushes Hamilton down to ninth. In a weird, ironic twist, Russell might not lose a position on the back of this. He is fifth and could remain fifth unless the Alpines pull out a lap, or the Haas guys pull out a lap, because Lewis is out. Magnussen team radio. Red flag. Expensive day for Mercedes AMG Formula 1 team. Both cars in the wall within 2-3 minutes of each other. And they are gonna resume the session. They'll have enough time when it gets underway again, when they've got Russell's car sorted out and out of the way, which they're doing now. Cut to crane cam, and they're getting that stricken Mercedes out of the way. Then they'll get the session, and it'll be 2.5 minutes. So literally, they're just gonna have to pile out the pits, spread out. And one flying lap for pole position for the sprint. This quali's long, man. This quali's going to be like an hour and a half. There's been a few interrupted qualifying sessions this season. Because I remember in Imola, there was like 4 or 5 red flags. That took like 2 hours. I swear that was like a 2-hour qualifying session in Imola. We had a few interrupted qualifying sessions this season. But an expensive day for Mercedes, that's for sure. Wow. But yeah, if you are watching and you are a Formula 1 fan, you've got to get yourself subscribed, because I'm live every single qualifying session at every single Grand Prix, including the Austrian Grand Prix on Sunday, as well as a sprint race tomorrow. And we are in for a cracking second half of the season, judging by how competitive this qualifying session is, despite both Mercedes putting it in the wall. That's crazy, man. Especially in the dry as well. We had like mixed conditions quali in Canada, which was virtually incident free. I think just had a Lance Stroll. Then we had a mixed conditions quali in Silverstone, virtually incident free. On a dry, sunny day in Austria, and both Mercedes in the wall. Make that make sense. Session restarts in less than 4 minutes and 3 minutes 45 seconds. And we get the session resumed again. Will we get a conclusion to this? Wow. Second stoppage. But we will get a conclusion to this when it gets back underway in 3 minutes' time. No matter what, the next flag to be thrown ends the session. There won't be another red flag. If there's another red flag, once it gets back underway, that'll be it, because we won't have time to go round again and do it all again. So that will be it. Mad quali, Jay. Mad quali. Both Mercs in the wall. McLaren at the back. Your boy Lando, he's got to have a mega race in the sprint tomorrow, because it's not been great for McLaren. And Mercedes both in the wall as well. I can't believe that. But we get back underway in 2 minutes, and they'll have just enough time to go around and do one flying lap. Or they're all going to be waiting at the end of the pit lane then, are they? Mick Schumacher's ready to go out now with 2 minutes to go before it gets properly underway. Look at the Verstappen fans here. It's virtually a home race for Max Verstappen, this, in terms of fan base. It's nuts. A sea of orange. You wouldn't be a Lewis fan in Austria, I tell you that. You'd definitely be a one-man band. Being a Lewis fan in the Austrian Grand Prix. Round 11 every season is DNF and Nozza. Plus he had to put the old dig engine back in. Yeah, I reckon he'll pull a few positions in the sprint race, get back in the top 10, and then full Grand Prix on the Sunday. Here we go then. The session gets back underway in 40 seconds. And we'll finally get pole position decided. And they're all going to queue up at the end of the pit lane then. Thing is, they've got to spread out as well. They've got to get a gap between each other. This is gonna be a tricky to navigate this. Let's see a Haas on pole. I would love it. I loved it when Alonso went front row in Canada. Do you remember that one, Jay? A few weeks ago. Alonso P2 in Canada. Oh, mate, I was jumping around the house. It was mint. Love to see something like that now, but I don't think it's going to happen. But Mick Schumacher pulling a madness. Right, we're back underway then. Get the red flag thing off. Green flag. Here we go then. So we're all on the out laps before a one lap shootout. It's like being on an F1 game, isn't it? With a one shot quali. That's what this is. One shot quali in Austria for pole position. Let's go. Yeah, they just dropped straight off the start. Mad out of race pace. Differs to quali. Yeah, man. I mean, Leclerc's had like 6 or 7 pole positions this year and only 2 victories. It just proves it's not all about quali. Alright, come on. A minute to go. They've got to all cross the finish line before the time runs out to get a lap underway. So it's going to be Leclerc, first man to set a time then. Oh well, no, you've got the 2 Hasses up the road and Alpine as well. But Leclerc round turn 1 nice, and up the hill towards turn 3. as Verstappen starts his lap as well. This is it then. This is it. This is the final crescendo of qualifying in Austria. It's taken long enough to get there. We're an hour and a half into a stream that was only meant to be an hour, but it is what it is. But is anyone doing... No one's gone purple in Sector 1 so far. Max's time for 1 minute 5 flat might not be beaten. Leclerc doesn't even set a personal best in the middle sector. Sainz is looking decent, but can he challenge the front? Here comes Leclerc across the line then. Oh, beats it. Leclerc goes pole for now. So Charles Leclerc, purple, final sector. He was mega at the end of the lap, was Charles Leclerc. Here comes Sainz, makes it Ferrari front row for now, but they've still got across the line. The Red Bulls have still got across the line. Verstappen by 29 thousandths of a second, and Perez only 4th. Max Verstappen, look at he's less than a 10th in the top 3. Wow, less than a 10th in the top 3. Verstappen beats Leclerc by 29 thousandths of a second. Beats Sainz by only 82 thousandths of a second. That's so close. Perez nowhere then. Perez another 4 tenths off the pace. Russell wasn't beaten then. So Russell, despite the crash, starts P5, looking like Esteban Ocon 6th. And then the two Hasses, 7th and 8th. Like Canada, I think Canada were 6th and 7th. In Austria, Haas line up 7th and 8th. Mega qualifying by them. Alonso ended up P9, a little bit disappointing for Alonso. In the end, he showed mega pace in Q1 to Q2. Did Fernando Alonso. You know, I was hoping Alonso top 6, but he'll take it. You know, it's P9, it's not too bad. And Lewis Hamilton, who crashed out at the beginning of Q3, will start 10th. So Mercedes 5th and 10th. After both crashing, could have been worse. But Max Verstappen, by a whisker, takes pole position in Austria. And the fans love it. Magging the 1 minute 5s. He was quick, man. Haas and Alpine are quick, you know. Haas and Alpine are quicker than McLaren, you know. That's the scary thing for Norris. That, you know, Alpine are quick. Haas have flashes, you know, the quick one week, they're not the next. But I genuinely think Alpine are a threat to McLaren for 4th in Constructors, for sure. That's it then, guys. Max Verstappen pole position in the end from Charles Leclerc and Carlos Sainz. Oh, the top 3 all separated. The top 3 separated by less than a 10th. It doesn't get much more competitive than that. But yeah, that is all from me for now. I will be back tomorrow at 3:20 in the afternoon for the sprint race. I don't even think they call it a sprint race. I think it's just a sprint. I'll be back for the sprint, which starts at 3:30 tomorrow in the afternoon. I'll be live 10 minutes before it at 3:20. And yeah, join me then. If you have enjoyed the stream, please do drop me a like, because I'm trying to get this channel up and running properly. So yeah, any kind of feedback, get in the comments, tell me what you think. Drop me a like, and if you are a Formula 1 fan, like I say, do get yourself subscribed, because I'm live every single qualifying and every single Grand Prix. But that's it, guys. Peace out. I will see you tomorrow for the sprint. Verstappen on pole.